Hello everybody and welcome to this week's edition of the Rich Payne Show, talking Cape Central Tigers football here. Vince Brown once again with third-year coach Rich Payne. Welcome back, Coach.
Thanks, Vince.
I tell you, with everything being full circle as it has been over the last few weeks, 2 years ago when we were in your first year, we got into districts. We were at Rockwood Summit up in the Metro St. Louis area and just came off of a nice win against Seckman during homecoming. Unfortunately, we wound up getting shut out for the first time in the year by Rockwood Summit 35-0, and everything kind of tailed off of that. Fast forward to this past Friday. Those seniors this year that were sophomores then that suffered that shutout recorded their first ever shutout, this time 47-0 over St. Charles West. And what had to have been one of the most complete performances I think you've seen all season.
Well, I thought it was, and I was, as we was on the air about, I was afraid of St. Charles West, and rightfully so. They're a good ball club. I think we had some, made our own breaks early with some interceptions and the fumble recovery, and then our offense, clicked pretty good. And scored on some big plays and got them down early, and we kept on top of them. But I think they're continuing to understand what it takes to defend a ball club, no matter what their offense is, and we're taking advantage of what the defense gives us offensively to be successful right now.
You mentioned the defense sparking the offense. 2 interceptions in the first quarter by Michael Rader alone. Later on, Jason Redden picks up an interception to pretty much close things out. You get the fumble recovery by Austin Davis. You had about some 21 points off turnovers in that first half alone, sparking to a 41-0 lead. And then the big plays, the 85-yard touchdown run by Rodney Reynolds on the basic fullback dive. You're watching the motion, man, and all of a sudden, here goes that fullback right up the middle.
Well, it's the basis of everything. The very first play we put in is fullback trap, and fullback trap then leads to everything else off the offense, and we hit it and hit it good, and it's kind of interesting to watch the film and see that there are several people on their defense that are chasing the sweep back, thinking that he's going to have the ball or does have the ball, and then Rodney runs right past them. So, and I think offensive wise, we're clicking along pretty good. We're going to face some awful good defenses, this week and then the next couple 3 weeks. So, we got to continue to utilize the talents and skills we have, and find the weaknesses of the defenses and exploit them.
You mentioned Rodney Reynolds. He became your third different back to rush for over 100 yards and lead the team in rushing in the week. 139 yards on only 4 carries. And it's been that kind of theme almost week after week after week, where somebody who gets over 100 yards doesn't need that many carries to do it, because the offensive line has done such a good job of breaking the holes wide open.
Well, I think there are 2 things there. I think the line's done a nice job, and I also think that the skill level of those backs is good. And I'm all 6 of them. Austin Davis at the wing back, is as good a backup as you're going to find for Keelan, and then you got Tay and James at the 2 back, and Rodney and Reeder at the 4 back. At the fullback. They give us some pretty good punch there, as long as we can give them a crease and give them an alley to run in.
We'll take a break and come back and look at this week's game against Poplar Bluff. It's in the SEMO North, and it's the last game before the all-important Class 4 District 1 run. Stay right here. This is the Rich Payne Show on Prepcast Southeast. And we're back here on Prepcast Southeast. This is the Rich Payne Show, talking Cape Central football. Vince Brown alongside Rich Payne, head coach of the Cape Central Tigers. All right, got another SEMO North contest coming up. First of 3 of the last 4 games on the road this year. And it's against a team that, kind of handed to you the last couple of years in the Poplar Bluff Mules. But they've been on the other side of the stick as of late. And last week, 70-7, unfortunate defeat at the hands of Farmington, who you face the following week, might have put something not only on their minds, but maybe if some of the guys from your club may have been watching, something to watch for there, because they may be coming at you seething mad.
Well, I don't think they'll be happy, with that. Coach Kirby does a nice job down there, and that's a competitive group of young men down there, So, we take nothing for granted in this game, and it's our next game. We don't think forward to the next one after that. We got this game to worry about. They're a little banged around, and that's, there's some of their good kids are not playing for them right now, and some of their seconds are having to step up and do the job. So, and I think, they're a ball club that are dangerous, and so you've got to make sure that you come ready to play, and that's our thing. It's been our theme all week, and much like the St. Charles game, is they're a good ball club. Their record may not show at Poplar Bluff right now, but they're a good ball club, so we need to come ready to play, and we better be ready to come out early and often and get after them and be physical up front. I think that's where we have an advantage, if we will be physical up front and try to handle their line of scrimmage on both offensively and defensively. I think we should be in good shape, but at the same time, you've got to be ready to play. And the SEMO North is a tough conference, and I don't care who it is that you play, you better be ready to play when you play somebody in the SEMO North.
As much as we talk about the turnaround of the offense, right now the rushing game over 2,000 yards. We talk about Christian Captain not having to pass much, but when he does, he's very effective and efficient. Right now he's up to 8 touchdowns and 3 picks. But we haven't talked much about the defense, and this is where I think the biggest part of the turnaround goes unnoticed, because of the fact here's a defense that now, with the shutout, has now dipped back under 10 points a game allowed. We're about 9.8, 9.9. And you have to go first and foremost to the switch of the scheme, because you've got fresher legs up front. But the linebackers are really stepping up big time, especially they've been averaging about a pick and a half a game.
Well, I think, once again, they're a veteran core, with Rodney and Kevin at the line, inside backers, and Michael Reeder and Howman and Martin at the other outside backer that have been splitting time. They give us a good core group, and they're athletic. They're athletic. They can run. They can hit. And I think one of the best things I think that our defense has done to date is tackle, and tackle well. And which something we struggled with over the last couple of years. We would get to a certain point where we're ready to make that tackle, and we wouldn't finish the tackle off. I think this year, our base fundamentals and the emphasis that we put on the base fundamentals are starting to pay off. Because if you get a good athlete, and you get a good athlete in the right spot, and you teach them how to finish that off with a good tackle, then the rest of it should take care of itself, with the scheme.
You talk about Andrew Heilman. Here's a kid plucked from the soccer team. Right out the gate, this kid is kicking close to 90% extra points, and that part of the game really is picked up. He hasn't been challenged to kick a field goal as of yet, but of course as we get deeper into the season he's going to have to. But that leg of his, 5 touchbacks within the first 6 weeks, that's pretty doggone good. And not to mention, part-time fullback linebacker, he really has picked up his weight.
Offensively he's a tight end, Vince, but that's okay. But linebacker is where he's giving us our best thing. Plus he's a big, strong kid, and the only reason when he misses extra points is when he tries to overkick it. If he just uses his ability and just kicks it just nice and smooth and easy, he'll kick the daylights out of the ball. But and the other advantage that he's brought to us is that touchback. Anytime you can start an offense on the 20-yard line, it's 80 yards to go before they get pay dirt. So, that's an advantage for the defense. So, and in high school ball, if it crosses the plane, all it's got to do is cross the plane and it's on the 20-yard line. So he's given us that advantage. Plus, even if he doesn't get into the end zone, he'll hang it up there nice and long and high and give our return team, our cover team time to get down there and get after it. So, I think, Andrew's happy. He's enjoyed his time in time with football, you know, he's one of those kids. You look at him too. You know, if he would have played the game a couple more years, you know, he'd be a dangerous force. The other advantage that he's given us too with double tight. When we go double tight, especially in short yardage situations, we go double tight with him and Boom at the tight ends. You know, in our double wing situation, we can run any of our offensive plays either way. You know, and so it's tough to defend that way too, because you don't know which way we're going to go with it, and so you've got to make sure that you play your defense even up. And if you play your defense even up, then we kind of know where we can pick or choose our battles as far as, you know, our offensive scheme to try to get it in the end zone.
One of the intangibles of this defensive success so far has been the fact that you've been able to average a takeaway or more per game. Last check we saw you guys at about +3. Normally around this time of year in the last couple of years, not only your tenure but Lawrence Brookins' tenure before that, you've been around maybe -1, -2, -3 coming into this part of the season. To have that type of success going into the teeth of the SEMO North campaign really has to give this team confidence. Not only the seniors, the underclassmen that have had extended time have also picked up their confidence as well.
Well, I think there's, you know, that confidence level is good and those things. And in most games, most big games especially, misassignments and misalignments and mishandling of a football will cost you a contest. It may not be a mismatch. I may not be stronger or bigger than you, but if I miss my assignments or my alignments, or I don't do something fundamentally correct, turnovers, fumble, those kinds of things, you know, then you've got as good a chance as the opposition to win the contest. So that's something we've been preaching with the kids. You know, yeah, we may be bigger and stronger than some other teams we face, but at the same time, it's those mistakes that will cost you a ball game. It's not more times. It's not the mismatches.
Next week, we'll recap the Poplar Bluff game, and we'll get ready for the all-important Class 4 District 1 season. The first test on the road at the always tough Farmington Black Knights. Thanks to Coach Rich Payne, as always, for joining us here on the show. This is the Rich Payne Show. I am Vince Brown, and you've been watching Prepcast Southeast.